Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Wellness Week Live. It's the nighttime edition. We can't get enough of this. We can't get enough. If you're thinking to yourself, wait, didn't I just see Anthony earlier today? Yes, we're doing another show because we're in high demand here. Wellness Week Live, DJ Anthony. I'm a real DJ. It's not a joke. I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt because I'm trying to put up the positive vibes of warmth because in Jersey, it's ice cold and horrible. We have a special guest tonight. He's a friend of mine, all-around fit guy, guidance counselor, busy man, takes care of himself. And so I wanted to have him on. Mike, what's going on? Thanks for coming on.
Anthony, it's my pleasure. I'm glad to be here.
Come on. Yeah. No, man. Big fan of Mike. Don't get a big head, Mike. So I said you're one of my faves. You're one of my faves. You're not the fave. So take it down a notch. Okay. So, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, and it was the same reason that I have a lot of people on, is that, and we said this off camera, we talk about, we graduate high school, graduate college or the military or whatever. And then, life gets in the way and we stop taking care of ourselves somehow. We're not eating the right way or not getting any kind of exercise. And I'm like, that's a travesty. It's like, it doesn't have to be that way. So I was like, I like to have you on and people like yourself that are, quote unquote, everyday people doing great things, taking care of ourselves, taking an interest in our lives, putting down the soda and the sweet drinks and the beer and having a glass of water, simple things, but it adds up. And so, and also I wanted to touch on today, you work as an educator, you're a guidance counselor, and some of the things that you're seeing in the schools as it pertains to talk about epidemics, childhood obesity, it's an epidemic. It's not a joke. And we can extrapolate that obesity is the direct link to COVID deaths. Now, anybody can obviously die of COVID, but don't believe me, go on the CDC, the WHO, anywhere you want to go, that's one of the main things that is killing our loved ones is, being obese. And not taking care of ourselves. No one deserves to pass away, but we have to take better care of ourselves. I think our healthcare is more than just take a shot, take a mask. Healthcare is much more than that. Yeah. So it's a serious thing. It's not a joke. I've lost a loved one to COVID, and it's serious business. So that's why I wanted to have you on, is just to talk about healthcare. What really is healthcare? It's what we eat, what we do, what we don't do. And so, you're someone I respect, and I want to motivate myself to eat better and do better for myself. So, it's funny, when we spoke earlier on text, I said, "Oh, what do you eat for breakfast or lunch?" And you had alluded to, well, I go, let me guess, this guy's doing intermittent fasting. So let's talk about that. Okay, so did you just start intermittent fasting, or have you been doing it for a while? Or
so, Anthony, it's funny how that worked out, because I had a weird eating habits like years ago, and I'm talking maybe 2013ish, 14ish. I got into the habit of, like, I was fasting a lot, just seeking some things spiritually, things of that nature. And what was happening was that I got into the habit of basically having like one solid meal a day.
Okay.
And way back then, it was something to where, like, the meal was like, I was eating it at a strategic point of the day where if it was like, it's kind of like early to mid afternoonish. Right. And what was happening was that the portion would be substantive enough to not allow me to be hungry by the time I went to bed. So I would wake up the next morning, and mind you, this particular fast during this period of time was maybe about 20 hours or so. So I was literally 20 to 24 hours. So I was literally like maybe eating one meal a day.
Right.
And again, more so for spiritual reasons.
Okay.
And then I would, like, at one point maybe have some water, something to drink, or whatever the case may be. And I started to realize that my body was like adapting to it. Now, at that time, I had no clue what an intermittent fasting was.
Okay, you were just doing, okay, interesting.
Just doing it for kind of like spiritual reasons, like I said. And my Pastor Peter, kind of found out like what my eating habits were. And he was just, well, Pastor Peter.
Yeah, of course, I grew up with him,
yeah. So he's great with encouraging and almost kind of like pointing things out and kind of have you notice yourself. So he brought up this term like intermittent. He's like, he calls me Smitty, you're doing intermittent fasting. I was like, well, I fast, but I kind of do this thing where I eat once. And he's like, wait, you're the one that started intermittent fasting. I was like, no, I haven't started anything. I just,
right.
My weird eating habit. And after a while, I started doing research just based on what he said about what intermittent fasting was. And I started to realize there's a lot of health benefits to it.
Oh, yeah.
And And I'm gonna be honest, Anthony. Since then, that's just kind of been how I lived. But of course, I've gotten better at it because, you know, I've gotten healthier in terms of the foods that I eat and the timing of it. And now I'm doing the 16 hours, you know, fasting, 8-hour window that I eat. And again, it's just something that for me, it fits my lifestyle, it fits my schedule.
Right.
I'm an awful cook.
All right.
So it's kind of like my gift and curse because I can't cook. There's only a few things that I can do that are healthy, that are consistent, that are edible.
Yeah, right. You won't kill yourself, man.
So again, like it's just over the years I've kind of honed that intermittent fasting craft, and now it's to a point where it's just a part of my lifestyle, and my body has adjusted to the point where I don't fluctuate in weight too much, even with my workout regimen, because my eating schedule and intermittent fasting. I have my one cheat meal a week. But other than that, my intermittent fasting schedule is very crisp and
right. It's regimented.
Keeps me.
Well, that's funny because so when I originally heard about intermittent fasting, for people who don't know, it's basically what it is. You're fasting for a set period of time in the day. You're not eating, so you might essentially skip breakfast, maybe if you're starting out, you know, or you might skip or hours. You know, there's 24 hours in a day. You sleep for 8 hours. You wake up. You don't eat right away. So it's right. But I didn't know this. So the reason why people would want to intermittent fast is not to lose weight. It's to reset your gut biome, to go into ketosis where your body is burning the fat, you know, the unnecessary fat. So it's not about losing weight per se. I mean, because you and I are about the same height. I mean, how much do you weigh?
I'm in the range of 170, like 2 inches to like 176.
Oh, you are my weight. Okay. Yeah. So I'm 5'11", 170. And so, okay. But I think because the other thing I tell people is like, you know, health doesn't necessarily equate with weight, because I have friends of mine that are 5'11", 225. They're much healthier than I am. So, you know, I think it's a misnomer and misguided when, you know, our culture always looks at, you know, weight, you got to lose weight. It's like, it depends. I mean, I wouldn't just jump on that bandwagon right away either, because, again, weight is just a metric. It's not the metric. But so, yeah, intermittent fasting is just, and I've kind of, you know, dabbled in that. And as much as I don't want to do it, there's so much medical literature that says intermittent fasting has to be incorporated into your lifestyle somehow, some way. No one's saying just stop eating one day. You slowly get into it. Maybe when you wake up, don't eat right away. Take a half hour, take an hour, and then the next week add another hour. And then to kind of what you also said is what we do eat when we eat. You know, not having French fries and you know, cake and cookies and chips and pasta and white bread. And, you know, it's what we do eat also, which is another thing. But I would say, you know, if someone's thinking about intermittent fasting, in my opinion, I think intermittent fasting is good if somebody kind of has their diet on lock already.
Yes.
If you're eating crap, you're drinking beer and chips and cake and cookies and, you know, processed food and white bread and pasta, and you're sitting, I wouldn't do intermittent fast. I would say first get your I don't even want to say the D word, diet, but get your food
regimen
consumption down right first. Yeah. Then you can go into the next step, which would be intermittent fasting, because if you're not right with what you're eating, then I don't know, you're going to wind up poisoning yourself when you are hungry. Then you're eating what, you know, Big Macs, French fries, and what it's not. So but it is very, very interesting, and I would encourage all the viewers to go look up intermittent fasting and see how it can benefit you once you get your diet, you know, taken care of. And again, we're not giving medical advice here. You follow your doctor's orders or whatever. But okay, so you're doing that. So when you have your first meal, so do you eat breakfast or no? It doesn't.
So I basically do not eat breakfast. Now I do eat breakfast type food.
Right.
I don't eat breakfast, if you will, like typically when you wake up first thing in the morning.
Right. I've kind of slowed down on that too. Actually, today I woke up and I purposely said, okay, I'm not eating breakfast when I wake up. So I waited about 2 hours. So it gave me almost a 13-hour window in a day. I went to sleep, woke up, 13 hours not eating, you know, and I wasn't hungry. Like, you know, I think sometimes we eat because I'm supposed to eat now. I'm going to eat. It's like, but are you hungry? You know, exactly. Like, you know, and I always say this, we have almost like a habit or oral fixation or digital fixation where we have to be eating something at all times. You can't just be, you know, so I try to, you know, ease up on that too. My other worry, I don't know about you though, because I'm 5'11", 170. I don't know if I lose any more weight, I'm going to be down to my original birth weight. I'm worried, like, you know, I can't go too far in this intermittent fasting business because I'm like, people already telling me I look gaunt, you know, but I mean, anyway, so
Look great, Anthony.
Thanks, bro. You too, man. Come on. Hey, now we're pumping each other up. No, you're the best. No, you're the best. This whole show with the pot, dude. All right. So, okay. So wait, when your first meal, whenever that is, what would it typically be?
So the first meal is going to be somewhere around about probably 1:30ish.
But what would you be eating?
And what I would typically eat, I'm eating. It depends on the day. So 3 days out of the week, I try to do like no meat. So I'll do like a veggie burger, something of that nature, in combination with some sweet potatoes. A lot of what I eat, I try to fuel up for my workout a few hours later. So I try to eat according to that. But so just to say 3 days a week, I'll do the veggie burger thing with some sweet potatoes. I have like this protein bar. It's called No Cal. I don't know if I'm supposed to pump it.
Doesn't matter. It's what you eat.
Products.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
It's no dairy, it's no soy, no nut, like that type of deal. High in protein, decent carb, but it's great fuel for a workout later on. So I'll do that in combination sometimes with a couple, boiled eggs, egg white, and a couple boiled eggs. So I'll combo that meal and then I'm honestly, Anthony, like that. And sometimes I count the calories; it'll equal out to about maybe 800 to 900 calories for that meal. And a few hours later, that's more than enough for me. More enough calories and fuel, energy to have a good workout.
Now you hit on something, and I think the reason why you're satiated or you feel sustained is because the eggs, you're eating good fats, the omega-3s. That's what's going to make you feel full and not keep on eating and eating and eating and eating. And eating. So I think a lot of times people misunderstand that, fats are going to make me fat. No, you need to eat fats. You need to have omega-3s. That's your salmon, your egg. Eggs get such a bad rap. Everyone thinks, my cholesterol. Your body makes thousands and thousands of milligrams of cholesterol. You eating an egg at another, 100, 200 milligrams, it ain't nothing. So it's the nutrition in an egg. It's really a complete food. So it's interesting you mentioned egg. And I've been on the egg thing too. I don't eat 10 eggs a day, but I try to eat, incorporate to my diet per week. Yeah. So interesting. Yeah. So you mentioned the fats. That's awesome. And then so for a dinner or is it just you're doing one meal a day?
So that's where it gets a little tricky. So for me, at least, again, when I have that meal at that strategic part of the day, I'm satiated for the day for the most part. Like I said, so when I feel like I need to, if you will, refuel, it's after my workout, and that's typically a substantive kind of like protein shake. So I have my NutriBullet and I'll mix that with things, and of course after workout you need to replenish, especially with protein, stuff like that. So and that shake in and of itself is about somewhere in between. Around about 400 to 500 calories, just based on what I put in it. So, so within the day in its entirety, I'm doing about somewhere in between 15 to 1700 calories, give or take.
Right.
But again, I'm eating strategically, according to my workout, and then replenishing after the workout. So that end of the day meal would be more than likely that NutriBullet shake.
Right.
And I'm looking over at my counter now. But it's like I said, that it's packed with all types of whey protein,
whey protein, good fat.
Yeah, all of it.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. When people hear you and I talk, and I talk to other people who are trying their best to take care of themselves, people might think, eating healthy, it sounds so boring, and I'm going to be unhappy. And I always make the argument with people, no, when you're eating healthy, you're going to be putting the highest octane into that Ferrari, not the cheap 87 grade. I always say our bodies are Ferraris. You can't put crap gas in the Ferrari. When you're eating like you're eating, or I'm trying to eat healthy with salmon and tuna and salad and, whatever, you're not giving up anything. You're getting more energy. You're happier. You're healthier. Your immune system's stronger. You have more energy. So I think it's a misnomer. People think, oh man, that sounds so boring. I can't have cake and cookies and beer and soda and sweet drinks. Like, ugh. That stuff will make you happy for maybe first 10, 15 minutes, but then it's going to suppress and destroy your immune system, destroy your gut. So the way you're eating and the way I'm trying to eat, that's going to only give you energy, give you happiness. So people really, I need to understand that too for myself. I'm like, okay, this is, and it's true. You feel better. Don't you want to feel better? So that's my thing is, but yeah, so eating, I'm sorry.
On that note, though, like, so on those other 3 days of the week, because like I said, that one day I have is a cheat day. But on those other 3 days, I'll do, like you said, the salmon and the tuna and maybe some grilled chicken, things of that nature. But it's so funny that you said about gut health, because that was when your gut health changes, your whole body responds and it thanks you dearly for it. Like everything, like inflammation, everything. It just,
people don't realize, and I didn't realize this till recently, like a couple months back. I mean, our immune system is in our gut.
yes.
So everyone's worried about COVID. That's great. Get your shots, wear your mask, get what you're eating in check.
Yes.
Eat probiotics, prebiotics. If you don't know what those are, people, just look them up. They're your fruits, your vegetables, your broccoli, your cauliflower. It doesn't have to taste nasty. Salt, you can put butter, but eat your vegetables, and I know you hear it all the time, but when you're drinking sweet drinks, iced tea, lemonade, sodas, fried foods, when you're eating white bread or any kind of bread, but especially white bread, that you're putting heart disease and cancer in your body. And if you eat a little bit of white bread, you're putting a little bit of heart disease and a little bit of cancer in your body. And moderation, I always tell people, how's moderation working for America? It ain't working. Like we've been trying moderation for decades. So, and I'm guilty. Like I used to make my own white bread up until May.
Wow.
And I stopped only because I've said this story a million times, but I was having problems with my triglycerides. And so I solved the problem, got off the white bread, got off the pretzels and the chips and the cake and the cookies. And I have it once in a blue moon, like, once a month. But I didn't know this. But when I got off the bread and the pretzels and the cake and the cookies, I didn't even know I was inflamed. I was like, oh, I feel better. Like 10 days into stopping the bread stuff, I was like, my body feels like more like stronger. Yes. And I was like, I wonder if that's because of the bread. So I looked it up. I'm like, damn it, man, the bread was inflaming me. And I thought I was feeling fine. I was like, I felt fine, but I didn't know that there was another level to feeling fine. Like, oh man, I really feel good now. Yeah. And my immune system I just felt better. And so, I think, it's such an insidious thing, the bread, the cookies, and we're told by the food, the pyramid, eat your bread and grains. And it's so just, man, shame on whoever made that pyramid. I mean, they need to be taken out back. But I mean, it's just like, we all know, and I had a nurse on before, and he hit it on the head. He's like, it's the lobbyists. Of course they're going to tell you to eat bread and grains. Who's paying for the pyramid? Follow the money trail. Yeah. So, but anyways, to your point, having the healthy fats and stuff like that, and it doesn't have to be cold turkey. Slowly get into it. If you're drinking soda every day, 2 cans a day, try to drink a can and a half this week, every day, and slowly that's how I do it. Like I was a soda drinker too and all that stuff. And so you talk about your workout and your exercise. Mm-hmm. What's your primary, because I know when I texted you yesterday, I think you were playing ball, right? So what's your primary means of exercise?
So my primary means, so actually COVID has been a blessing disguise for me, because I've converted like my downstairs area into like a workout space. So I only do dumbbell workouts now. Back when I was playing football, and even after that, a lot of barbell work, a lot of heavy kind of like Olympic lifts,
right,
as well as core lifts. But now I'm doing a lot with dumbbells. And interestingly enough, I realized that just especially like my rotator cuff, I think when you get older, stuff like your rotator cuff starts to go on you. And I've gotten more mileage, I think, out of my body because I was, due to COVID, when the gym shut down, I was forced to kind of adapt. And just the space in my downstairs area wasn't able to kind of hold all that stuff. So I said, okay, well, the next best thing is dumbbells. And lo and behold, kind of like the intermittent fasting, I stumbled upon it. And it was my saving grace for my body. So the workouts that I do is still resistance, weight training. But at the same time, it's like dumbbells, along with some exercises that are CrossFit-esque.
Right.
These snatches and
right.
dumbbell swings and stuff like that. But I'll still get on the dumbbell bench and incline, as well as Romanian deadlifts,
right.
Things of that nature.
So that's interesting, because you're someone that you sound like you're pretty self-disciplined in that respect. And I tell people that's cool if you can do that. But I think for someone who's maybe starting to get back into exercise or get back into health, it probably would be better too if they join a class or because you have accountability, someone to push you. Everyone's different. If you're better off in your house, cool. But I find and I guess hence why you play basketball too, right? It's like there's something about that community that kind of motivates you. Like, okay, I got to play these guys today, whatever. That's a good thing, because people need people. We need to be around people. That's also boost the immune system. Yeah. But so I always tell people join a class or something. And, the other reason why I wanted to have you on is you hear this all the time. It's like, well, I don't got time. Okay. I got to work. Oh, you're the only person that has a job and has family. It's like, come on, you have to listen. Do you want to be around for your kids' graduation? Do you want to be around for your kids' wedding? You want to be around for the grandkids? You want to be around for your nieces, your nephews, your friends? You got to take care of yourself, people. I do too. Like, I want to be around. I get it. Life is short, but I want to live a quality short life, not a crappy short life. I'm always tired. I'm sick. It's like, so, it's inspiring to hear that, hey, you're still out there, you're still exercising. And I think, you mentioned weight training. I would say after 25 years old, weight training is a necessity. And I'm guilty. I don't do weight training. And I really need to get back into some resistance training because it's good for the skeletal system. If you want to avoid getting fractures, whatever, anywhere in your body, you need to build up muscle. Now, no one's saying go be Arnold Schwarzenegger, but, some kind of resistance training, calisthenics, push-ups, weights, whatever, it's so beneficial. But again, I think more often than not, people say, well, I don't have the time to go to the gym. So my thing would be, okay, but you have to eat though. Yeah. So instead of grabbing the diet soda, which you might as well drink gasoline, or the beer or the soda, drink the water. Instead of drinking the iced tea, drink the water. Instead of having going to the fast food place and getting a fried chicken sandwich, get a grilled chicken sandwich. We have control over that. You might not have time to go work out, okay, but you have to eat. So every meal is a choice we're going to make.
Most certainly.
And it's not about money. I mean, last time I checked, a bottle of water and a bottle of soda, the same price. So, I try to tell myself that too, because I'm guilty of that a lot of times too. I'll go for the sweet thing or whatever, but we have control over that in what we do. And that's a segue into, you're in the school system, you're a counselor. And what do you see with the kids in your school? Like, I mean, the greatest challenges for their health. I mean, our kids nowadays, I used to be a teacher. I haven't been teaching, as you know, for a long time, but are kids active nowadays? Are they not? Is the video games and texting kind of making them on the couch? Like, what do you see as a physical and health challenges for the kids today?
Anthony, we are at war with technology. I mean, the better the technology gets, the better the video games get. And I understand this entertainment, and it's fascinating what can be done with a computer nowadays, but it is making it difficult for just normal kids to find value in themselves and interacting with others, and then being physically active as well. And so if a kid can, they'll go to gym class and they'll do the bare minimal, just to pass and kind of, skate through. But when they're home, they're on their phones, they're on YouTube, they're on Instagram, they're on Snapchat, video games. Oh, forget about it. Yeah. And we have to compete with that. And it's just hard. It's just like, hey, live in this virtual world where you have your successes and you can kind of shape what that world looks like, or live in this reality where there's an expectation and you might not be as successful as you want to be.
And now, as you know, they're starting to advertise the metaverse, like down the, like you can now don't even have to get off your couch, put on the goggles, and you're in your own world. And to your point, and this, you're a high school athlete, former collegiate athlete, and I played sports my whole life too. It's like, it's also good for the mind. I always tell people, if someone gets into an argument at work or wherever, I always say to myself, hey, the person you got into the argument with, did they ever play sports? And usually it's like, no, they haven't. I'm like, those are the biggest jerks, because when you play sports, you learn discipline. You learn how to work with people you don't like. You learn how to lose. You learn how to win. And our kids, like you said, they're not doing sports. They're not as active because they're sitting down, on the phone, playing video games. That's not teaching you about life. I always say sports prepares you for life. School prepares you for academics. Sports prepare, right? You know this, I know this, and it's a shame because a lot of our kids are not getting that. They're not getting, and I think I could be wrong here, because I'm a former teacher, and I think parents kind of don't help sometimes. I think sometimes parents are afraid to like let little Jane and Johnny out to play because they're gonna get kidnapped. It's like, I mean, it's, and so it's sad, or you played football, so did I. I don't want to go into this rabbit hole, but I'm gonna dip into it.
Let's jump.
Let's do it. I think what's happening to football is a travesty. The way it's getting lambasted as this dangerous, it's horrible, it should be illegal. Listen, yes, there's CTE from not everyone. You played, I played. Yeah. Like, that's the only thing that football provides is head injury. Like, what about camaraderie, discipline? Hey, you're getting up off your butt. You're moving. Like, I mean, and there's protocols now. Football's a lot safer than it was 4 years ago.
Most certainly.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Right. But no. Let Johnny sit all day, because that's healthy, and they're not going to get in any trouble there, versus go out. Like, and if you get a concussion, what? You can get listen, soccer, #1 concussion sport, basketball, concussion sport, hockey, concussion sport. Like, it's, you got to look at the pros and the cons. Yeah. I mean, and again, I get it. We want the best for our kids and all that stuff. But again, what are we supposed to do? Yeah. Like, because sitting is good. That contributes to childhood obesity, contributes to cancers and heart disease. I mean, that's not safe either. Yeah. So I think I think parents don't help sometimes. It's like bubble wrap everybody. And I'm not saying all parents, but and again, if football's not for you, seriously, play ping pong. Like something. Get up. It's better than nothing. Yeah. And to your point, so that's what you see, right? You seeing that a lot in the schools where kids are just being lethargic and it's all about video games. Yeah,
video games, or again, TikTok is taking over the world. Like they'll do their little dance moves.
Yeah. But at least they're moving their arms and dance. So now that's another thing about wellness. I talk a lot on this channel about, I like to call it mind health, not mental health. If you say mental, it's a non-starter. Everyone thinks you're an axe murderer, which is not true. So I say mind health. But as a counselor, I mean, what do you see? I mean, I got to imagine you're seeing a lot more mental health issues with the internet and with this stupid device that is just killing kids. Yeah. I mean, do you deal a lot with, like, I guess, self-esteem issues, bullying, or how does that? You've been in the game for a while now as a counselor. I mean, maybe it's a rhetorical question. Is it getting worse? Is it getting better?
It's getting more. Again, it's like it's becoming more sophisticated, which again, it's hard to stay. It's hard to stay ahead of the kids. They have so many ways.
Yeah. That's their job, is to fool the parents and the teachers. Right? That was our job as kids. You got to fool your parents.
Yeah. And they're so good at it now because they have so much more access to stuff.
Right.
So it's one of those things where like because of the cyber world, they're able to communicate as well as bully, or as well as find reasons to feel victimized or targeted. Like it's a lot. It's a lot. And what happens is that I think with the advent of social media and the like world, it's one of those things where if you post something or if you do something, you want likes, you want that validation. And whereas when you and I can have a conversation in our day and somebody verbalized, or your friend group or a teacher or a family member, they verbalized what they liked about you, or you accomplished something and it was an actual legitimate 3-dimensional tangible object you can touch, like a trophy. But now the trophy is like.
Yeah. And by the way, even us adults, I'm guilty of this too. I mean, I get suckered into some of this stuff on social media through, just whatever, my social life or business. And I have to, like, thank God, we have context. We can say, okay, this is not how it always was. But if you're a teenager, this is your context. This is how it is.
This is it.
And it's not good. It's unhealthy. But I find myself struggling with that too. It's like, damn, I'm getting caught up in these the laugh emojis and the thumbs up, thumbs down, and it's insidious. It's
addictive.
Yeah, and it's a problem. So you're seeing kids. So I mean, what would be a struggle, or like, do kids exhibit? And is there a way to, what to look out for? If, I don't know, like, what is a parent or teacher, or like, are there any signs of a child feeling anxiety or stress, or like, do they exhibit? Because it's a different world nowadays than you and I were in the 1980s. I mean,
yeah. I mean, the key is that you have to establish a relationship and rapport with the young person, because then you're able to notice the nuances and shifts of their behavior. Some kids are naturally reticent and sometimes introverted, and that's not a sign of depression, right, or fear factor of any sort. And in some instances, there's some kids that'll, they'll kind of do, they'll kind of project themselves in such a way to be outward, to kind of deflect feeling insecure and things of that nature. So in knowing a child, you kind of know what their isms are, and you're able to kind of pinpoint if they're, if you will, not themselves.
Right.
But in many instances, what we're seeing is just that kids, when you see a stark decline, especially if they say, for instance, if they were good students, one of the strong indicators is that their grades start to tank immediately.
Right.
And not just tank because I got an F on the quiz or I didn't hand in a homework assignment. It's like, I'm not motivated to do anything. I'm not doing homework. I'm not going to study. I'm not handing in projects that are worth half my grade. Like, It's just like I'm not doing the things that are even going to get me at the starting line. So that's normally, whether you're a great student or not, that's normally an indicator that we have like kind of like that kind of like I've had it, I've given up type of.
You look for a pattern.
That pattern, it becomes it definitely becomes a telltale sign for us.
It's funny, and I know that you probably hear this, and us old farts, we always like to say, oh, the kids today, they got it so easy, and in a way they do have it so easy. But I would also make the argument, in a way, kids today have it harder than any time in human history, because if you get bullied today, the bullying never ends. It follows you home. Yeah. It never ends. When you and I were kids in the 80s, if we got into a fight or there's a bullying incident, we can go home and have a respite, have a break until tomorrow morning. Yeah. It never ends. The bullying, the I'm not adequate enough never ends. The I need to have that shiny new toy or sneakers or watch or car never ends. It's a constant drip, so in many ways our kids have a mind battlefield that we've never had, that no humans ever had in the history of the world. So in many ways our kids have it harder than ever before, and I would caution parents to don't be so quick, because just because you don't see it doesn't mean the war is not raging in their minds, in their hearts, and like you said, you have to be able to pick up the subtleties, because kids are not going to be like, Mom, I'm having a problem in school today, can we talk? They're going to just suck it up, because we all did that. It's human nature, but now it's even worse, because again, we have the world at our fingertips. I always tell my friends and say, would we drop our kids off at the mall by themselves if they were 10 years old? No, we wouldn't. But we'll give them a phone, though, access to the whole world. They're upstairs. But you just gave them access to the whole world. But you might as well drop them off at the mall. It's a lot safer. Like, so it's like, it's so tricky. And my heart goes out to parents of young kids now too, because it's not easy, for the parents, not easy for you guys, the educators, the counselors, the coaches, the teachers. It's a tough world out there. And you guys, the counselors and the teachers, are more valuable than ever before. I mean, you spend more hours with these kids that, they're not paying you enough. Okay. I should be your lobbyist, all teachers and guidance counselors really need to make like buku, because you guys are the frontline warriors. It takes a village, but you guys are on the front lines, and it all ties into wellness, our mind health. You're right. If you're not well here, you're not going to be well anywhere else either. And a lot of that has to intertwine with food, though, too. Going back to, what are our kids eating? Are they eating the right foods? Because that can also depress us, eating garbage, whatever. Again, fried this, fried that, and cake and cookies and bread and pasta all the time. So in closing, because I want to respect your time, and I actually went over a little bit. This is kind of a stupid question, a rhetorical question, too. I mean, I don't know. Do schools, or in your circle of other colleagues you have at other schools, are people talking about nutrition, or like, are schools offering better food choices nowadays, or no? I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Wow, that's a fascinating question. So I think because of COVID and this current season of uncertainty, it's been more focused on, you'll hear something called SEL, social emotional learning. So it's more based on mental health, basically. Long story short. Now there may be a component here and there that may speak to health and wellness in terms of nutrition, but that's normally hit by the PE teachers and health classes. So it's not like if you will, like a school community push. At least from what I've been seeing, is not as much of a school community push to say that there's a link, in which it is, but a linkage from nutrition to mental health and emotional wellness.
Right.
They haven't made that
link. Yeah, which is funny, because we you don't have to believe me, people. Go research it wherever you like. But yeah, I mean, it's countless articles about the mind-gut connection. If the gut is healthy, you're eating right, you're not that it's a silver bullet, but you have a higher chance and better odds to be healthier up here. When this is healthy, that's healthy. When this is healthy, this is healthy. It's a total linkage. And I think we're starting to slowly see that. Even a lot of doctors are not onto it yet. Yeah. But I follow a great doctor online. He's a cardiac surgeon, done over 10,000 heart operations. And his name is Dr. Gundry out of LA. And you watch him?
He's the lectin guy.
Yes, that's my guy, dude.
I love him.
You know, he broke my heart though. He said, I almost threw the television across the room because he's like, he said, I'm like, yo, there's a line in the sand, my man. And this guy crossed it. He goes, peanut butter. Don't eat it. Got lectins.
Got
I was like, no, you shut your mouth. You shut your mouth. That's the hill I'm dying on right now. I don't, whatever, man. No, we're not. But yeah, the lectins. Oh, you're on. See now, damn, that was a hard thing to hear.
Yeah.
Well, again, I think the whole lectin thing though is like next level stuff. If you're someone that's on the hot dog, hamburgers, and bread and cookies and chips and cake and beer, don't even worry about lectins. Just
that's advanced.
Slowly, you know. Lectins are like
stuff.
Yeah, that's like black belt level. But yeah, man, I was like, oh damn, Dr. Gundry. But yeah, nightshades, the peppers. I was like, dude, my whole life is a lie.
Tomatoes, lectins. Tomatoes have lectins.
Well, it's just, yeah, so exactly. So as I'm hearing him, I feel like my whole life has been a lie. You know, it's just like tomatoes and right, bro. The peanut butter thing threw me off. I was like, this guy, but he's right. You know, so anyways, that's the thing for, you know, that's black belt level stuff. But yeah, so Dr. Gundry, and he talks about that. And what I love about him is he's not some new age, you know, this guy has cracked open sternums and operated on 10,000 plus hearts. Okay. He's it, you know what I'm saying? And if this physician, MD, is saying, you know, there's a mind-gut connection, then damn, you know what? I'm all in. I'm following this guy. And so that's funny that you follow him too. Yeah, because I mean, I know he's well-known, but he's not exactly like Dr. Oz level well-known, but he's in that realm. Anyway, so yeah. So I think that's interesting. And I don't think schools have caught on to that yet, as per what you're kind of alluding to, that, you know, but yeah, there's a mind-gut connection on top of obviously social. And by the way, speaking of which, I don't know if you're a fan of him, but this is another guy. He's not a doctor, but he talks about health in a roundabout way. Great author that I love. Yeah, I love him so much. I forgot his name. He wrote David and Goliath. The heck is his name? He's out of New York City, New York Times bestseller, always crushing it, like nonstop books. Oh, darn it. Come on now. People can text it on the, hold on. I got to find out. Oh, shoot. Hold on. No, I need, hold on. And Goliath. Everyone's probably yelling at the screen. It's that, Anthony. It's that. Wait a second. His name is, you've heard of him too, I'm sure. Everyone has. Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, he talks about kind of along the same lines as mind, gut health, also social health. You know, when we have connections, when we have friends, family, colleagues, acquaintances, we are also healthier in our gut and our mind. So it's the social connections, the food connection, you know, the social and the food connections make the body well, you know. And so in the book David and Goliath and in Outliers, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. I mean, he talks about that, how important social connections are, and it can make and break you. That's it. You know, having, again, even something simple like, you know, you join a martial arts class, or you have in a basketball program, or you know, whatever, you join a club. Even as adults, after high school, college, you know, us men, we're usually bad at this. You know, we just, you know, we kind of almost give up. You know, we just work to come home or whatever, and we forget to take care of ourselves. How can we be of use to our family if we don't take care of ourselves? You know, and we just I always talk about, people brag about, I don't know if you have people in your circle like this, but I have people in my circle like this. They'll brag about how much sleep they don't get. Oh yeah, I got 4 hours of sleep. Oh yeah, I got 3 hours of sleep. Like, that's something to be proud of. Like, I wouldn't be proud of that. Like, you know, you should be bragging about you got 8 hours of sleep or 9 hours. I don't got time to sleep. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'm like, well, you're gonna be dead pretty soon. I mean, like, sleep is another whole show. But you know, but anyway, so Malcolm Gladwell kind of ties some of that in, not so much about the food, but about how our social interactions, and you and I are talking about, right, you know, gut health, food health, and mind health. It's a triangle of connection there, and I think, you know, I'm learning too and all that stuff. But anyway, so yeah, so Dr. Gundry, man, yeah, he's great. Check him out, folks, and check out Malcolm Gladwell. Two great people that, you know, everyone should read and follow. And in closing, MWS, is there anything you wanted to add before we wrap it up? I appreciate you staying a little longer. You know, I want to respect your time.
Yeah.
Add or anything? No.
I mean, this. I just like. I love the conversation.
You've been good. Hey, you keep this up, I'll have you back on.
Listen, I'm with it.
That's it. No, you were a great guest, and you know, I haven't spoken to you in a while, so it was great to have you on. And but yeah, man. So I appreciate that. I'm gonna be signing us off in 5 seconds here. Mike, thank you again, and enjoy the rest of the week.
You too. Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. Don't forget, hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell your friends and family. I become that guy now. I gotta I gotta sell the channel. Nice. All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone. Good night. Okay. All right. Ooh.